Tonight on NewsWatch 12 at 6, a wrong turn led to a chaotic and dramatic crash this morning, how a school bus ended up on its side, and what students and parents had to say afterward.
And the national plan to protect old growth forests across the country is being abandoned. A look at what that means for our forests.
Plus, just 4 days after ONA began their strike against Providence, both now say they're ready to negotiate. Details right now on NewsWatch 12 at 6.
Live, local, late breaking. This is NewsWatch 12 at 6.
We begin with a look at a scary scene this morning in Central Point. A school bus carrying 10 children crashing into a ditch. One of those students sent to a local hospital. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Haley Gravitt.
And I'm Tim Quidadamo. NewsWatch 12 spoke with a different student that was on that bus, his mother, and the Central Point School District to find out what happened. The parents of 10 students at the Central Point School District had a scary start to their morning after finding out their kid's school bus crashed into a ditch on Ritchie Road.
It was a phone call, and it surprised me, especially because he had just left the house.
I looked up from my phone 2 times, and the second time I saw the bus just fall in the ditch.
8th grader Clayton Little says he was thrown from the left side of the bus to the right side during the crash. The Central Point School District 6 says 2 adults were on board, a bus monitor, and the driver, who was a substitute driver. After missing a turn on his route, the driver turned onto Ritchie Road.
When he missed the road that he was supposed to turn on, he was trying to get back on the route.
He helped all the kids get out and make it safely out of the bus.
Davenport says foggy morning conditions and icy roads played a role in this crash, which sent 1 student to the hospital briefly with minor injuries. Just minutes after the crash, the school district notified parents and had staff on scene to help out.
We were very fortunate in this case. There was only 10 students on the bus, so that made it a little bit easier to contact parents.
In Central... And now let's check with Storm Tracker 12 Chief Meteorologist Matt Hoffman in the Weather Center. Matt, some foggy and freezing mornings we've been seeing.
Yeah, another one on the way for tonight. Take a look outside right now. We have mostly clear skies. Temperatures already starting to tumble. 38 in Wairika. It's 35 in Klamath Falls. We're sitting at 37 degrees in Medford and 36 in Grants Pass. No fog just yet, but expecting more of that development in our west side valleys as we head through tonight. Take a look at some of these readings. 34 degrees currently in Chemult. It's 49 in Mount Shasta and a mild 54 degrees along the coast. We made it into the 60s earlier today with mostly sunny skies. Just a few thin high clouds, but we'll be tracking areas around Jackson and Josephine County in the valleys to see some more fog development. It looks like we could be seeing some of that fog already getting going in the Cave Junction area. Tonight, cold temperatures, some of that fog could be quite dense and it could make roads slick with temperatures once again dropping below freezing in Medford and Grants Pass down into the 20s tonight for the Basin and into much of Siskiyou County. Tomorrow, clouds and fog in the Rogue Valley will decrease once again. We should see a sunny afternoon throughout Southern Oregon and Northern California with some milder temperatures for many of us on your Wednesday. We'll take a closer look at how warm it's going to get tomorrow and details on a blast of some colder air for the region as we head into the weekend. That's all coming up.
Thanks, Matt. In an update, 4 days since Oregon nurses took to the picket lines, all 8 Providence hospitals now say they're ready to schedule negotiations with the striking Oregon Nurses Association. Providence announced earlier today that they informed federal mediators of their readiness to resume mediated negotiations. Just yesterday, NewsWatch 12 told you that ONA nurses are hopeful about future bargaining sessions, but are frustrated that negotiations have taken so long.
Meanwhile, the Medford mattress has opened for the first time since this structure fire in its warehouse last week. According to a Facebook post from the mattress store, the fire did not spread to the business's showroom. The fire did spread from the mattress's warehouse and to Buttercloud Bakery, which is still closed until further notice. Crews are still investigating the cause of this fire.
A former Josephine County commissioner has now been appointed to fill the vacancy left after the recall of John West. Andreas Bleck was sworn into position 1 this afternoon to serve the remainder of West's 4-year term. Bleck formally served as position 2 commissioner last year to replace former Commissioner Dan DeYoung, who resigned in July of 2024. That term ended on January 6th. For more details, head to our website, kdrv.com.
And the National Old Growth Amendment, an initiative to standardize management of old growth forests, was recently dropped by the U.S. Forest Service. Conservationists say that this is in response to the changing political tides, leaving the amendment to be able to be picked up again at a later date. While it leaves the option open for the future conservationists, they say that in the meantime, it'll be a dark time for the forest land.
I think what we're seeing without NOGA is that the impacts of fire will probably continue to degrade the habitat to an extent where some animals like the Pacific fisher, the northern spotted owl, those numbers are already low. It's not going to bode well for them down the road.
While some conservationists are relying on NOGA for change, others say it doesn't do enough to combat climate change and deforestation. NewsWatch 12's Rocky Walker will share the full story coming up at 6:30.
And an early morning structure fire left one Rogue River family and home severely damaged. That fire is now under investigation. Jackson County Fire District 1 was called to the scene around 5:30 this morning after one person woke up to smoke detectors going off and the house filled with smoke. That person was able to wake up the two others inside of the home and exit. Fire crews did arrive on scene and were able to say that smoke detectors worked and prevented the situation from becoming much worse. Happening now, close to 30 service centers are giving mushroom therapy to people in Oregon. And starting this year, they have to follow some new rules.
Leave Column tells us how this could impact clients and what it means for the future of psilocybin treatment.
This is not a surprise to the clients. They've already seen it.
Andreas Met is the founder of Satya Therapeutics in Ashland, one of 27 service centers in the state for mushroom therapy.
Not only does it potentially change people's lives, it often fundamentally changes lives, more often than not.
All of these psilocybin centers are now tweaking some of their operations as a part of state law for 2025. One rule, clients now have to share identifying info under Senate Bill 303. Centers have to keep track of that info to share with the state.
Whatever it takes to provide this healing for people, this is what I've dedicated my life to. So I think that getting some of this data is important.
Clients can opt out of that data being used by Oregon. But Isabel Met, Andreas's daughter, says the rule is a double-edged sword.
People, for instance, of color have been greatly harmed by the history of the war on drugs. And so having to talk about that, they may feel more likely not to get this.
Psilocybin is legal in Oregon, but cities can make their own rules about its use. Rogue River residents voted to ban magic mushrooms in 2024 within city limits. Amanda Wiggins manages Rogue River Herbal PMC, a marijuana dispensary off Main Street. She said it took years for residents to come around on cannabis, and she predicts psilocybin will be the same way.
It's just going to be a slow process, just like that. They have to realize the medicinal reasons and not just think that people are out there trying to trip out.
But Andreas Met says that day is yet to come.
There's too little awareness about this to say there's a cultural shift happening.
Reporting in Jackson County, I'm Leave Column.
The Klamath Falls Police Department has created the Community Livability Team in response to the evolving landscape of policing and to improve the quality of life in the area. They will be focused on improving the quality of life throughout Klamath Falls through issues such as disorderly conduct, illegal camping, and outdoor burning offenses.
Nothing like the start of high school basketball league play on a January night. Our game of the week, North Valley at Cascade, coming up in less than an hour.
No better way to warm up than in the gym watching some basketball. Joining us live from Cascade Christian is Luke Doughton. Luke, first matchup between the Knights and Crusaders this year. What can we expect?
Tim Haley, that's right. It's the first matchup between these two this season. They're going to meet later in the season, but it's the first league play game for the challengers. North Valley, however, they already have one league play game under their belt. They lost to Lakeview on Saturday, so they're going to be looking to get in that win column today, and it starts with a couple key players for the Knights. That includes senior and captain Dane Kissel. Dane is a shooter. He's going to be looking to get to his spots and knock down some threes. He's going to be driving as well. Another player that's big for the team, sophomore Max Friedman. Look for him to get involved on the offense as well. and it's going to be a team effort on defense, making sure that they can lock down a very talented Challengers roster with a lot of offensive firepower. Coach Alex Keller telling me they're going to have to play defense for all 32 minutes tonight. Doesn't matter who's on the floor, but that's going to start with their another captain and a big energy man, Carson Smith. Over the last 5 games, Smith has been averaging 11 rebounds per game, so keep an eye out for him on the glass. He's going to be a force down low for the Knights as well. Coming up at 6:45, we're going to hear from Coach Keller about both of these teams ahead of our game of the week. Live at Cascade Christian, I'm Luke Doughton.
Luke, thank you. And exciting news, the Medford Airport is announcing a brand new route between the Rogue Valley and the San Diego airports. Beginning in May, Alaska Airlines will offer mid-afternoon departures from Medford and late morning departures from San Diego. This comes as Alaska Airlines also increases Portland-Medford flights from 2 to 4 daily. The airport says they're excited for the opportunities that this new route will bring to the community.